Microsoft Teams on Monday the 22nd of July at 7 p.m. This meeting is being live streamed and a recording will be made available to view via the Council's website, except for discussions involving, confidential exempt items. Therefore, the images, audio of those speaking will be publicly available to all via the Council's website. Voting this evening will be taken by a show of hands. For those attending in the chamber, please raise your hands when a vote is called, and for those attending remotely, please use the hands up function in Teams. I will take a quick roll call. When your community council is announced, can you please confirm you're present and give your name for the benefit of those viewing at home? Aber Valley. Argyde.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bargyde.
Yes.
Thank you. Bedwas, Thomas and Machen. Thank you. Blackwood Town. Caerphilly Town.
Apologies, Chair.
Thank you. Darren Valley.
Yeah.
Thank you. Drayton, Waterloo and Rudry. Gelligay. Llanbradach and Porthlapant. Massicuma.
Yes, Councillor Joe Rayo.
Nelson. New Tredegar.
Yes.
Thank you. Penrowell, Trekennydd and Enniglyn.
Yes.
Brymney.
Yes. John.
Risca East. Risca Town.
Yes, President Michael Parker.
And Van. Thank you. And now we'll go to, oh, sorry.
I'm a substitute, Nelson Ann Gray.
Thank you. We'll now go to our county borough members. Councillor Alan Angel.
Apologies, Chair.
Councillor Robert Chapman.
Present, Chair, and I'll cover the Darren Valley as well.
Councillor Pat Cook.
Present, and I on Blackwood Town Council as well.
Councillor Kevin Etheridge. Councillor Anne Gay.
Present.
Councillor Colin Gordon. He gives us his apologies. Councillor Dawn Ingram Jones. Thank you. Councillor Teresa Heron. Here. Councillor Leroy Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Councillor P. Leonard. Councillor Amanda McConnell. Councillor Teresa Parry.
Emma.
Councillor Judith Pritchard. Councillor Carl Thomas. Councillor Lindsay Whittle. And Councillor Jill Winslade. Thank you. And Cabinet Member Councillor Nigel George. He sends his apologies. Thank you very much. Item number 1, to receive apologies for absence, which I believe we've covered.
As given in the roll call, Chair.
Thank you. Agenda item number 2, declarations of interest. Councillors and officers are reminded of their personal responsibility to declare any personal and/or prejudicial interests in respect of any item of business on this agenda in accordance with the Local Government Act of 2000, the Council's Constitution and the Code of Conduct for both councillors and officers. Are there any declarations? We shall then move on for agenda number item 3, minutes of the Community Council Liaison Subcommittee held on the 20th of November 2023. Matters of accuracy. Can we check pages 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Do you want to move them first?
The minutes have been received and noted as accurate. Yes. Are you all happy?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Agenda item number 4, matters arising. Members join us remotely. Please indicate using the hands up button if you have any matters arising. Members in the chamber, please raise your hand if you have got any comments. We'll take hands up in strict order of indication. Councillor Jill Davis.
Thank you, Chair. Page 2, I requested information on residents' permit parking. And in the minutes of this meeting, it said it was the task and finish group inquiries were still ongoing and they'd bring the report of the outcome to the subcommittee for information. Is there any update on that, please?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Davis. A copy of the final task and finish report was circulated to all Town and Council clerks when the report came out. I'd be more than happy to recirculate it or to send you a printed copy in the post. Wouldn't be a problem at all.
Go down, please.
No worries.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else with any other issues or?
Yeah. Page 4.
Yeah.
Members referred to problem in the community council in relation to overhanging trees. Dr. Fulton said it was not relevant or
Sorry to interject. Please could you put your microphone on because the home people viewing are not going to hear.
There we are.
Much better, thank you.
Technology is a wonderful thing, isn't it?
Well done, thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. Page 4, the matter of overhanging trees. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend the last meeting, but the officer advised that unfortunately this was not an area for responsibility, but the member wanted to provide him with further information. I see that the key area that we noticed in the Argood Ward and around is the amount of overhanging branches that are now impinging on the peripheral vision of people driving in the roads. I think obviously I've seen some very near-miss accidents, and we've had a few up in Markham with the top roundabout there. So is there a policy, or can we get something to look at this? Because with the environment, the change of our environment, the way the trees are growing exponentially now to what they were before, and I think we need to seriously look at as a group and the council of what we're going to do throughout the borough to manage this problem.
Thank you. I'll consult with them on that one.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Mellon. If you email me with details of the areas where the overhanging is occurring,
Yeah.
I'll send that to our parks maintenance crew and they will send somebody out and chop them back.
Yeah, no, that's great. But I think, we need to have a big look at that,
Certainly, if you want to discuss that at your own community council liaison committee and bring that forward for an agenda item.
We have discussed it
at the next meeting. Be more than happy to add that to the agenda and get an officer from Parks to attend the meeting to give you a rundown on how they deal with overhanging trees.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Anybody else got anything to raise? We move on to agenda item number 5, Charter for Town and Community Councils. This item was added to the agenda at the request of the Town and Community Council Liaison Committee owns meeting.
If you wait a second, Bob, the chair bring you in now.
Yeah.
Bob Campbell.
Bob Campbell.
Yeah,
Sorry, Bob. I was just thinking I'm doing his microphone.
Yeah. Okay.
Clark.
Risca Town Clerk. The committee tasked myself and the clerk at Bargoed, Helen Williams, to consider a review of the charter, which we believe has been going for 25 years with minimal reviews, and I was keen to put in the for the town and community councillors to have the respect of being elected members in their communities and towns, rather than when they speak to the Caerphilly staff, just being recognised as residents. And then Helen added in for improved communications between the Caerphilly staff and the town and communities peoples. Okay, thank you. And by the way, I didn't put it in red. That must be Caerphilly staff did that. Helen and I decided on a purple. Yeah, the two comments. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Chair. To let you know that the introduction of the text in red is an accessibility matter. Purple wouldn't go through an accessibility checker because it's a difficult colour for people with a visual impairment to pick up on. Therefore, it's in red and in bold, which makes it better for someone with a visual impairment to pick it up. It stands it right out as a correction. In terms of the items to add, any changes to the charter have to have a cabinet or a council agreement. If community councils are happy with the charter admissions, then we can take that forward, or if they want any further discussion. In relation to the contact with community councils and being recognised during contacts, as Bob will be aware, I provided our customer services and our services front staff with a full list of all town and community councils that are currently serving. That way, if a member should call them, they will check that list and they will recognise them as an elected member and will address them as such. In terms of improved communication, following initial contact with Bob, I emailed all corporate directors, all directorates and all heads of service and asked them to look at how they were circulating ward information. Where possible, to copy me in. I would then forward the information on, or if they wanted to, I gave them a list of full clerks' contact information where they could circulate information on directly. Clerks should have noticed an improvement, particularly in terms of planning lists, traffic orders, appeal decisions coming through now more regularly than they had previously. I think it's one of those items where you just need to jog people's memories about the consultation list and things will pick up considerably. So I'm hoping in the last few weeks, clerks will have noticed an increase in the rate of communication and notification on consultation.
Thank you, Emma. I'd like to ask if any members have got any questions, and I notice Councillor Etheridge has raised his hand.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to really endorse what Bob have said regarding engagement and sort of communication. And as I said at the town council pre-meeting, the charter is very important to community council members in regard partnership working within Caerphilly. Now, Bob did say that the charter was discussed between the clerks from Visca and Bargoed. And I also understand it was discussed at a meeting of town councillors. But my concern here was that the meeting was held in Visca, so I understand. And I understand there was no members there from Bargoed, Rumney, New Tredegar, Darren Valley, etc., etc. And the view was, well, if these people didn't actually turn up to the meeting, we should let this go forward as it is. Now, the problem is, Chair, in regard Team Caerphilly, openness and transparency, I believe all community councils should actually have input into this. Now, we cannot force them into it, but, you know, it does concern me that these meetings, which are held in Visca and Caerphilly, the attendance is actually quite low from all the town councils. And that takes me on to another subject where the charter is going to be really important for community council members. Now, as you all know, we've got to save a number of £1 million in Caerphilly, and I believe we need to be discussing more strategic issues in regard the transformation and the modernisation agenda. Each area is going to have to make cost savings in their communities. So, you know, there's a wider implication here, but to conclude, I would like to see this deferred so we can have the opportunity of other town community councils and clerks discussing it. And the reason I say that is because we've not discussed it in Blackwood, where there's 16 town councillors. But then the opposite view is, if they didn't attend the meeting in Risca, then why should we? Why should we just, you know, so, but I stick to my amendment that this matter should be deferred, and we should contact again each clerk of each community council and stress the importance of the charter. And if we don't hear from them, well, we just, Bob's and Helen's comments will just go forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hetheridge. I'll just open the floor for other questions, if that's all right. Yeah. Oh, can I take a second because you're making the amendment?
Yes.
Yeah. So can we take a second? Okay. So it's moved and seconded. Members, we have a motion that you wanted to defer it. Having been moved and seconded, the debate's in order. Members, if you have any questions or comments on the motion, please indicate now. And I believe the first one was Jill Davis, because it's quite a while ago. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Jill
Thank you,
Davis.
Chair. First of all, I will confirm to Emma that things have improved, things have been coming through with regard to Bob's and Helen's amendments. A vote was taken at the meeting of the liaison in Risca. I would like to know, I'm not up too much on how the things are worked, but I am enough to know that if a vote is taken and the vote was unanimous to go forward with this, how can it be deferred when the decision has already been made? The people who weren't there at that meeting had the information that the meeting was taking place in Risca, and therefore those that didn't attend, that's their problem if they didn't send somebody else there instead of them. But is it legal that you can defer something that a vote has already been taken on and passed? Please.
I think what we're talking about here, Councillor Davis, is it's kind of like apples and oranges. You're all fruit, but it's apples and oranges. Yes, in your own community council joint meeting that's just attended by town and community councillors, you can certainly ask for an item that you agree on and changes that you make to a document to come forward to this meeting. That's perfectly reasonable. When it comes to this meeting, you also then have the opportunity for other members to participate in the discussion around the item that you've agreed to be brought forward. They could suggest amendments, they could suggest changes that you would then take a vote on in a consensus of opinion, and then that final opinion would go forward. So I think what we're talking about here are connected things, but two separate things. Yes, the decision you took at your community council liaisons sole committee, perfectly reasonable, perfectly lawful, done under the standing orders for your committee. It is also permissible at this committee, which is an entirely separate function, still a fruit, but an orange, for a councillor here to say, yes, we agree those amendments, we agree those changes, we like them, but we would also like some additional time to take them back to our own town and community councils and discuss them further. That motion's been moved and seconded. If you disagree with it, vote against it. If the motion falls, then that's the matter concluded. If the motion is carried, then it's been agreed by all those present in this meeting that a little more time will be given for individual community councils to take another look at it. I mean, I don't think anybody for 1 minute is suggesting that the changes that you've discussed and you've agreed and you've brought forward will be thrown out. I don't think anyone's suggesting that they would be ignored. I don't think anybody's suggesting anything along those lines. I think what the member, if I understand it correctly, is asking is for more time because his particular town council wasn't available to attend that meeting, but they would like to formally discuss it, probably on their own agenda, with their own members, to take a view on it and provide you with that view. So then this committee can take another look at it, an informed view of it, and say, yeah, we like those changes. We're in total agreement. Let's take that forward to the next step and get that concreted into our charter. But I'm hoping that's made some sense to you. But all you have at the moment in front of you is a motion that you have the power to vote on and accept or decline. And then what will happen after that is a matter for this committee. It's your decision as a joint committee to make that decision on the motion that's been moved and seconded. You take a vote on that. We'll take a vote on the motion which has been moved and seconded. If the majority say we don't agree with that motion, the motion falls. I then suggest that somebody move and second that the amendments as attached in the agenda be moved and seconded, and then a vote taken on then, and then we can move on to the next stages. It's slightly long-winded, but all are perfectly acceptable.
Thank you.
Can I
If-
just clarify?
Just interject a moment. I've got another person waiting online who've been waiting quite a while, and then I'll come to this gentleman and then yourself. Yeah.
Okay.
So we've got B. Griffith.
Griffith, yeah.
Griffith.
Community Councillor Brenda
Oh.
Griffith online,
Oh,
Chair.
right. Thank you.
Hiya. I just wanted to make 2 points. The first point is I rely on public transport, and there isn't public transport in the evenings from New Tredegar to get to places like Brisker. And the other point I wanted to make is we currently do not have a clerk. So who would the information be passed on to for us to discuss these issues without having a clerk? Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Councillor Griffith. In terms of anything that I send out, you are copied into your individual email address. Anything that I send, I make sure you as the Community Council rep receive a copy, as you would the meeting invitation for tonight, the papers for tonight, and any subsequent information, I'll copy you in. In terms of the Community Council's own meetings and pre-meetings, that would be a matter for Mr. Campbell.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I didn't catch your surname.
It's Gravette.
Can I bring Bob Campbell in to make a response to that, please?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Belinda. Yeah, I didn't know you were clerkless at New Tredegar, but I do have some email addresses of the town and community councillors representing the 18 town and communities. I know people change, personnel change, and email addresses change as well. And I'm pretty sure, Belinda, I think you were included in my circulars for the meetings. The early meeting was in Bargoed, yeah, it was in, and then the summer meeting, Bargoed offered to host it, and then no one offered to host the June meeting, so I offered Riskertown. So that's why it was in the last 2 meetings have been in those 2 towns. Okay.
Thank you, Bob. Councillor Brent Griffith, is that okay? You are all right with that answer?
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point that not all of us, drive, and some of us have to rely on public transport, and up here the bus service stops about 5:30, so sometimes it is really difficult to get to certain places to be at these meetings.
Thank you for that comment. I'm sure we note that as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I please go to Councillor John Mullen?
Yep. I fully respect what the honourable member has said earlier, but in all fairness, I don't miss many Caerphilly, our Argoed Ward Community Council meetings, and it's the first I've heard that there was a meeting in risker. And obviously, looking at the charter, and in all fairness to the gentleman behind me, Mr. Eridge, I think it would have been incumbent to get the proprieties in order for all community councillors, for this to go on to the clerk, but to be disseminated to the councillors, for them to read it first, and for them to come back and turn round and say, yes, like the lady has said that she put the amendments. Well, let's let everybody have a look at it first, because obviously I can't refer or discuss anything, make an opinion, because obviously we weren't privy to that information before we've had a community council meeting to come here and pass a resolution.
Okay, thank you for that, Councillor Millen. Can I go next to Councillor Mike Parker?
Well, to be quite honest, what I've heard this evening, I'm a bit surprised about. As I understand it, we would brought something tonight to the council to change the charter. Are you saying that we got to make that as a proposal because someone has made an amendment?
Yes, the rules of debate state that any item before this committee, a motion can be moved on any item, any item of business. A member of the committee is entitled to raise a motion against it without notice. The standard rules of debate for any committee say that.
So we have, by us saying what we've said, you class that as the emotion, is it? Or has someone got to stand up and say that they're presenting this as a motion?
Someone should present it as a motion.
So that's what we should have done before you read out what it was.
You can present your motion now if you wish. A motion without notice can be presented at any time. Because Councillor Etheridge moved his motion first. That's the first motion on the table. So you can, if you want to, you can move the motion now that the amendments as
So we do as an amendment after.
Yeah, you know, you can say it wouldn't be an amendment because it changes substantially what Councillor Etheridge, but you can move a new motion that says that you propose that the changes as documented in the agenda pack be accepted as they are and go forward to be subject to Cabinet's final decision on whether or not they should be formally included in the Charter. That would need to be moved, seconded and voted on. But if I could just say, if you vote against Councillor Etheridge's motion, you are in essence voting in for the proposal within the agenda, which is to make those changes highlighted in red. I mean, the motion will rise or fall depending on your votes. I mean, what I have heard from Councillor Millen, Councillor Griffith, is that some of the town and community councils feel that they didn't have adequate notice or weren't able to attend on the night to have input in the Charter and would like that input. It's up to you as a committee whether or not you want to vote for the motion and give them that time. As I've said before, that doesn't mean to say that this is going away, that it will be ignored, that it will be forgotten. It will just come back to November and you'll have a look at it with the backing of the town and community councils who weren't able to comment at the initial meeting. But as I say, this is a matter for you. It's your decision. It's your committee. You have a motion before that you can.
Right. Just a question for clarification. It's been said tonight that community councils have not had communication, so they couldn't attend the meeting. I've only been a community council for 10 years, not attended everything. But every time I come, there's only about 8 community councils attend. Now, everybody tonight, community councillors, would have had this notification from you. So where are they? My point is, we can go back and forth saying, we've had this, we haven't had that. At the end of the day, as far as I see and I understand, a lot of the community councils do not attend. So at the end of the day, where do you go? Do you leave it to 3? Do you leave it to 40? What do you do? You're given notice, you either attend or you don't attend. We're just going around the mulberry bush all the time.
Can I suggest, Councillor Mike Parker, you let Emma respond to that? I think then we need to start moving on.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just that
we give Emma a chance to
respond. We're going
well, we are going around circles, yeah.
I mean, I think it's a matter for each individual town and community council clerk. It's a matter for each individual town and community councillor what meetings they attend and they don't attend. I've got no power to enforce attendance. I don't. But it's quite straightforward this evening. There's a motion tabled. You can vote for it. You can vote against it. And the matter will proceed at the outcome of that vote. I mean, that's all really we can look at is what's before us, what's been moved before us. I can always send reminders to clerks about meetings. I'm sure Bob does for his own community council. But I cannot enforce attendance. I can't. I mean, you're all very, very busy people. You all have constituency work that you need to do. You have other meetings you attend. Many of you are school governors. You have families. You're working. I understand and appreciate the workload that you go through, and it's not easy to attend everything, but it's not in my power to enforce.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you. Thank you. We'll move on now to Councillor Howard Llewellyn. Thank you.
I just wanted to say I can understand from a democratic point of view where Councillor Etheridge is coming from. But from the two additions to the charter, I think are very positive. So I'm quite prepared to let it go forward and let's have a vote.
Okay. Thank you. Have anybody else got any suggestions they want to raise now? Okay. I think what we'll do now, we'll go to a vote on the motion. I'll bring in Emma Sullivan to take us to the vote.
Thank you, Chair. We'll start with all those in favour of the motion. Can I please remind substitute members that are attending tonight, they do not have a vote. It is only the substantial member. If you are a substitute member, you're attending to observe, you don't have a vote on this item. But I'll start the motion then. All those in favour of Councillor Etheridge's motion to defer this matter to the November meeting to allow all town and community councils to add it to their agenda for individual discussion and then to bring feedback to the November meeting. This is how I understand the motion. Can you please raise your hand now as being for the motion? Can you keep your hands raised while I just double check, please? Thank you. Because Councillor Cook had raised her hand just now. Councillor Cook, can I just double check, because you did raise your hand initially and it's now been lowered. Did you vote for the motion, please?
Yes.
Thank you. That's 8 votes for the motion. All those, can you please lower your hands now and at home? All those against the motion, please raise your hands. That's 11 votes against. Do we have any abstentions? Could you please raise your hand if you are abstaining? And we have one. Oh, Councillor Parry, sorry, were you voting to abstain? No. Okay, thank you. We have no abstentions. Therefore, with 11 votes against and 8 votes for, the motion is lost. Therefore, the amendments as added into the charter will be taken forward. I believe I need to put a report together to Cabinet for any changes, permanent changes to the charter. So I will look into how we do that and bring that to the November meeting to get that solid into the charter for you. Thank you.
We'll now move on to agenda item number 7, briefing note on matters raised by town and community councillors. Emma Sullivan will again.
Thank you, Chair. The briefing note is attached at the back under agenda item 6 of the pack. The charter review was one of the main items which we've already discussed. There was another question on the charter in relation to whether CCBC could consider an additional point that joint meetings are held solely in person and not in any hybrid format. Unfortunately, or fortunately, whichever way you look at it, it's a requirement for local authorities to hold their formal meetings on a multi-location or hybrid basis. It's a provision of the Local Government and Elections Wales Act 2021, section 47. Therefore, we have to hold our meetings in a hybrid scenario. Many members who have caring responsibilities, working responsibilities, mobility and transport difficulties find the hybrid system the best way to attend meetings. And as I say, it's in legislation, so it will be offered on a hybrid basis. Point 3 of the matters raised by town and community councils was on community transport. Unfortunately, we don't have an officer attending this evening, but the update provided is included in the pack. I'm more than happy to take any comments back to the officer in question and provide you responses following the meeting.
Thank you very much, Emma. Do we have any questions on the briefing note? Councillor Jill Davies.
Sorry, with regard to the transport. I want to thank Emma for producing this paper. There's quite a good bit of information. My question was with regard to the bus services within the community, and speaking personally, the one in the village in Nelson, C1. If I could just update you on a few points that we've had with regard to this service. The drivers on this service are tremendous, and what they have to put up with, honestly, is, and I commend them. There were plans before COVID for 2 new buses. Then it went down to 1. And then the vehicles that are put in use now, sometimes, if it's not the correct bus, as we call it, what I refer to as a correct bus is where you step in on floor level and you're in on the bus. Now, due to mechanical failures, that bus has been off the road a couple of times, and the bus, the dead bus, as I call it, has 4 steps to get up. And speaking personally, I speak for myself, there are other people with mobility problems. It's quite dangerous. However, the bus itself, in January, it went off the road. It's a Mercedes. I know all about the vehicles. It's a Mercedes bus, and it went off the road in January, and it was due to the auxiliary motor. I raised a question as to why the engineers or the fitters in the borough couldn't do it, but fair play for them. It's because it was still under warranty, which they couldn't do, which I hold that okay, is fair enough. And the other time was in June, and it was a brakes problem. So obviously that's a danger. So we get notified then if there's a problem. I get notified. They ring me directly, and they'll ring me about 9:30 when we're all ready to go and catch the bus at 10. And if the bus doesn't turn up, just for everyone to know, with regard to lack of public transport, to get from where the 2 estates where the bus comes from, it's £5 return, a £5 single. So you have to pay £10 to go down the village to get your pension. So I'm just wondering, is there any update? Can they find out, is the new bus still coming? Number 1. So if I could have some notification of that. And just to update everybody with regard to the travel line service, you know, where you ring up and you got the timetables in your bus shelter. One Tuesday morning, I went down and I looked in the bus shelter and the new timetable was there. And lo and behold, our magic service had disappeared. It wasn't on there. So I said to one of the drivers, "Hey, look at that." I said, you're not listed. We disappeared." "Oh, you know, what's happened there?" So I rang Travelline, and honestly, the Travelline service is absolutely crazy. He told me that I should ring Newport Council because it's Newport Council operate this service. So I think that's something that perhaps Caerphilly Council could be made aware of, that Travelline don't even know that Caerphilly Borough operates a service in Nelson. So that's all it is, Emma. Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Jill. That's noted as well. Thank you.
If I can, Chair,
Yeah.
it's no problem. I'll forward both those on to Transport Networks, and I'll get a response to you. I'll pop it in the post.
Thank you, Emma. Thank you very much.
Are there any other questions on the briefing note? Okay, thank you. Well, I believe that will close the meeting for this evening. Thank you, members, for your attendance. The webcast will now be stopped. Members joining us remotely can leave the meeting, and for those attending in the chamber,